welcome to This and That. I'm Dave Lees.
And I'm Jonathan Byer, but I'm dressing like Dave Lees today.
You are the honorable Jonathan Byer, judge number 1 of the Miss New York pageant from over the weekend. That's why we are a little bit later with our This and That, but we wanted to be giving you energy because Jonathan expended all of his emotional energy, all of the things over from Thursday through Saturday night at the Miss New York pageant. It's a competition now, Dave. It's not a pageant?
No, they changed the terminology, ergo it is completely different.
It is a complete pageant. What I loved about it is that you were explaining that the Miss New York pageant has had problems, right?
Yes. So unlike when I judged...
The dear Gretchen Carlson, our good friend, has stepped down from the organization.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing some Wikipediaing earlier today. Did you know that the host actually helped get rid of the host of the Miss New York pageant, Mallory, who was Miss America 2013, got rid of the former president and brought in Gretchen Carlson by Change.org petition, and then now Gretchen is gone.
This is so funny how we're getting into it, but it's so similar to skating, we might as well indulge.
Yes.
So,
it's exactly the same. I've decided...
Yeah, it really is in so many ways. And it's pretty fascinating because the people before Gretchen Carlson were also dreadful. Yeah. It wasn't like they took a step backwards. They were dreadful and needed to go. But then and I understood what Gretchen was trying to do. She cut swimsuit because they're trying to not appear gross.
And they don't appear as gross as the Trump pageant where you're like, auditioning you're auditioning to be his fourth wife. Let's be honest, he'll take over as soon as he's like out of jail and out of the White House. He'll take it over again. Anyway, so and all those creepy sons, yes, all they need wives, they'll be in that's what you're really doing. But I found a love for the pageant, but so I went the first night of the prelims, and I happened to love that it was in Peekskill, New York, and Peekskill is not as cute as When the Facts of Life was fictionally based there. Peekskill is a lovingly shithole, and I will say...
I didn't see any of it.
It's in a dilapidated theater with like a bad rug, and that's where the pageant gays descended on, and the stage mothers. And I really enjoyed the pageant, but I enjoyed the prelims much more than the finals, Jonathan.
Okay, so you enjoy nationals where you see like all 20 of everybody. Yeah, okay.
Well, I think not having an investment, other than you, of course, I really enjoyed watching the terrible people with the talent. Like, for the talent portion, it was worth 50%. So it's like the old figures of yesteryear, right? Like Peggy Fleming, like doing the figures against Jutta Mueller's daughter. But some of the girls, they weren't singers, they weren't actresses, and they weren't dancers. So what they decided to do was dance with flags. And one girl even put Christmas lights on these flags that she was dancing with to Desiree's You Gotta Be. And in that moment...
How nice to hear Desiree sing something other than Kissing You. I thought of you when that music came on. I was like, look, it's not Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, I thought of you during all of it. I really did. I Instagram storied it. I couldn't keep up fast enough. There were too many thoughts, too many things happening. And I told Jonathan I thought one girl was a good singer, to which he said, and like Jonathan like really felt like he was being polite here. And this is opera singer shade that I know because I've been around.
No, I know what you're going to say, and I'm going to refute it, but I'm going to let you tell it anyway. Okay.
And he goes, she's a good communicator, and I go, ouch, ouch. Now I thought that the girl. I'm not saying she's going to be in the opera. I thought that we could like maybe class her up a bit. Work on the pitchy and like get her better talent score / like a character actress position in the Heights Regional Theater. Okay, Jonathan goes because like let's be honest, I've seen the Miss America pageant on TV before. I've seen their bad dancing, the skating on the fake ice, and like none of these girls are that talented. So
I'm going to disagree with you, but you can tell when someone has a real talent that they're going to share.
Yes.
And when someone has learned a talent so that they can compete.
So there was one girl who I thought was an outstanding person who could be touring the country in a Broadway show. Slash on Broadway. Unfortunately, when it got to the interview portion, she had zero personality, and I thought, oh, you can't even be an actress because there's just like.
But see, watch this, Dave. So now is when it's just like skating, because then we have basically that girl became the equivalent of the beautiful skater that doesn't make you feel anything.
I know, and then she just wore black. And unfortunately, I'm there with Michael Shanley, and he's a very polite boy, very nice, except for when he has an opinion that is, like, inappropriate. And I'm trying to take a video of this girl, and he's going, she's too big. She's too big.
Oh, God.
You can't be that big in the pageant. And
That's terrible.
I'm like, Grandma, are you back from the dead? Like, what?
Yeah,
is
exactly.
happening?
Jeez Louise.
I was like, oh my God, Michael.
We can't all be skinny mini like Michael Shanley.
Although Jonathan Weir is right now. So
no, you said that, which is so sweet. So I won't take it away. But no, that is not the case.
Oh, it's true. I was watching.
Okay.
I was watching Jonathan and all of his dramatic entrances and exits in the pageant. The judging panel walks up during intermission like they're marching off to war or to elect a Supreme Court justice. Like there is an important decision.
Well, now could you imagine if like figure skating judges had to walk through the stands past all the skating moms at sectionals?
Like Joe Inman? He would be in a state, okay?
Yeah, so they do that in the same way they keep the judges isolated skating, because otherwise all these parents are going to come harass you. Yeah.
We couldn't even take a picture with Jonathan, and then he was sequestered after the event. And let's be honest, we were like the only fans there. Everyone else was somehow related.
It wouldn't be fans, it would be, family members.
Now, there was one point of the competition that we were really troubled by, because at one point they had princesses, and Jonathan, like, these were girls who were on stage. These were not, like, child models. These did not look like little John Bonets. Like, they looked like the nerdy girls. And then they finally said that they were, like, in a mentorship program. And I was like, oh, thank God. I didn't think... Look, I know that we have to be politically correct now. I understand there are reasons, and I get it, right? But if pageants can't be misogynistic... what is left in the world, Come on. I mean, that's why you sign up for a pageant, I mean, there's just...
Well, it's one of those tough things, because, when I did opera competitions, everyone was like, remember, the competition doesn't matter. It doesn't make a career. It doesn't break a career.
It all matters.
And so many times you're comparing apples and oranges because a young baritone to an older dramatic soprano, it's like this, that, or the other. But it is strange to literally be in front of 7 people in this kind of situation and talk about sense of self and not giving into societal pressures. Well, 7 people are literally ranking your personalities and talents.
Well, I think when you know enough about music and you know enough about singing and enough about dance to kind of like scale these people, like how good they are. Like we were seeing the hand balancer, who was impressive, and then I thought, well, but she doesn't have any real performance here, and she's not telling a narrative or a story. Like, there's something missing. And then there's a girl that's playing fantasy impromptu, and because we've heard this music in skating a million times, the girl was nervous and, like, playing it far too quickly. And I thought, Jonathan's going to appreciate the fantasy impromptu, but he's going to know that she's messing it up. And I felt that she lost.
But in order to, well, I cannot
talk about it. I know
specifically. But what I would say is, if someone came out though and showed that they do have a substantial talent at something, and maybe it was just an off night, I always give that person credit because I find it's at least valid.
But then, and then I really enjoy the fact that they have to walk and give a prepared statement. And half of the girls stumbled over their own prepared statement. Their job is to literally look pretty, walk in a dress, and remember 2 lines. And they couldn't do it. And I didn't feel bad for those girls. I just felt like maybe this wasn't for them. And the fact is, the prepared statement didn't change 1 iota from night 1 to night 3. And including that I knew what line was coming next, what cheesy ending, what arm movement. But there was one moderate star who was giving me Nancy Reagan vibes. She was giving us TWA flight attendant who may have had like I felt like she could have had an affair with Don Draper in a 2-episode arc of Mad Men. Like she was giving
nice choice, yeah.
And then I researched her, and both her mother and her aunt were pageant queens during the Bush 1 era, and it just felt so right. It felt so right to me. The whole
enter Nancy Reagan.
And, yes, and I felt like all was right in the pageant world. I felt like Yes, this is a.
It reminded you of those nostalgia years with Vanessa Williams up there belting her heart out.
That's what we want. Okay.
Yeah, but it was. I mean,
there were short girls in this pageant. There were girls with hair that looked like it had split ends. Like I was disappointed. Like I want my pageant girls to look like Jenny Kirk. Like I want them to go from the pageant. To
Jenny
skating,
would have been a dream.
Yes.
She could have been Miss Massachusetts in no time.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Or Miss Idaho.
That's what we want, you know?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, obviously I'm there to empower women and give scholarship money.
Yes, it's a wonderful... Yeah. Oh, my God. The scholarship money is hilarious when you're like... Wait,
well, it's all collective, though. It's collective because then at the end of the night, they do give away, like, tens and thousands of dollars in scholarship money and stuff by the end.
Amazing were like, and this girl gets a scholarship for $250, and it's like that doesn't cover the entrance fee, honey.
Well, that's the thing. That's why each organization also tries to raise more money.
But I didn't feel bad for that girl because that was the same girl that got $250. Was the same one that was doing the flags with the lights on them and to Desiree, and I was like, well, she's not that talented. Okay, I mean,
I would do one where like where I sponsor like a musicians award or something if I to give it. You know what I mean? But the problem is I think you usually have to let the judges decide it because there were lots of choices we were making behind the scenes of like people wrote series of essays, people showed us like community service involvement, so we were also judging all of that not on stage.
Well, there is a gay couple who's watched TSL from the beginning. They were on the Aunt Joyce blog. And I have to tell you, they have raised pageant girls in their living room. I think they move in with them and they coach.
Including Miss Americas. They've had them go right to win Miss America.
I think, do you have a spare bedroom in the brownstone? Because we need to just put the girls in there and coach them to be more. I felt like Nancy Reagan was a little bit icy and she lacked warmth and a little bit of personality. And I think being around us, we could bring it out of her, right?
Now, I would just like to take this moment to say that Dave teases me sometimes because he's like, who are you? You got so into these pageants / competitions. Here comes Dave. He's attended 2 nights, bless his heart. He made a donation the first night, even though we could have had a free ticket. All of a sudden, I'm getting thousands of texts. I'm encouraging this girl. I think this girl needs to bring out this. I care about this girl. You're looking up old winners, old talents. I was like, I do think someone has gotten bit by the bug.
Listen, Jonathan,
your life. You're gonna open a local franchise in New Jersey, and you're gonna start churning out Miss Americas left and right, Dave.
Well, you know
you could do it.
Well, you know my friend Grace Gold, the one that's on the news. She and her sister were both figure skaters and in the pageants, and the sister's like involved in running pageants, and she actually wanted to have a pageant in the area. I was like, I am so there. Listen,
that is it's a thing.
I said, I will get you Jonathan Byer on the judging panel. I will get it, okay?
Well, because you have a journalistic background, you have the sports dance, the gymnastics background, you have the music background, and that's what they're really looking for.
Yeah.
So.
No, we're looking for girls that are confident, strong, service and
empowered. Activists.
Yes,
activists. Yeah.
But the talent portion really is everything, and I think
it's really always been my favorite from day one.
I know, but honestly, watching the whole mix of the girls, the 24 girls, the good and the bad, felt like watching early American Idol, like in the first and second season when we hadn't seen that shtick a million times before. I felt it, like, in my soul. I was like, this is so right. There was a girl who was a sanitation worker by trade and they give these stupid asinine speeches before, and she said that she wanted to teach girls to feel pretty while doing their domestic chores. Or something like, she wanted to empower them. And then she comes out and she dances to I Feel Pretty. And she was not a dancer. She was not a performer. I don't even know if she was a real duster, okay? She didn't have a maid uniform on. There was no French pour going action. And like, Jonathan, I felt like I was like, oh, I could help this girl. She's a train wreck. But we could improve her, at least by a couple of points.
That's the thing. It's like you do see potential, and then all of a sudden that creative thing starts coming in and be like, but what if we just did this? What if she actually just switched the song to this, and then we just do this, and then we've got it?
Yes.
Yes, it brings out the creator inside of you. But I think, like in skating, some of these talents are overthought.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about that one necessarily in particular, but in the same way when we were even talking about Rika Kahira suddenly being the angel of light or something and combining all human religions through a scratch spin. And it's like,
Tom Dixon is very serious about that, Jonathan, okay?
And trust me, I believe that whoever puts together some of these talents that coincide with social initiative.
Did you see some of those queens in their outfits in that shitty lobby? I mean, Jonathan, they were serious about what they were doing. And what was with the queen in the back who was like in all black? He looked like he was a stagehand, like he was involved with the lighting. And then he had leopard print shoes on that like looked like Jenny would wear them. Who was he, Jonathan? I wanted the backstory. Did you know him? Did you know him?
Yeah, but we'll talk about that off camera.
Okay, yeah. I just had thoughts. I had questions, There were some older gays that were really letting the chest hair pop, with their button-down shirts and the prints.
Yes, me.
You don't wear prints that look like you were...
No, I was in a tuxedo, obviously.
In Miami Vice. I don't... Yeah,
okay.
You were in a tuxedo looking very svelte.
Thank you.
So.
Did the national anthem for the first time. Did you? I've never actually done it.
I mean, now you could be Roseanne Barr, Jonathan. I mean, you've really made
it. Dreams do come true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. But let's discuss the skating, why we are here.
Yes,
but really, we could talk about the pageants. Anyway.
We could. The pageant lesson.
Anyway, we'll be watching that Miss America. Where the venue is, we don't know. But I will be intrigued. But
they have a network.
Lauren Malella Nancy Reagan from Miss Upstate New York. I feel her.
I think she's going to do great things for the program of the Miss New York organization. How about that?
Yes. Oh, my God. Yes, there was one girl, and they said, how can this organization continue to be relevant? And she goes, well, I didn't know the organization until 2 years ago, and I thought, oh, bless your heart. Bless your heart.
But I'm a sucker. Remember...
We like authenticity.
I had Tanya Harding winning that bronze in Albertville. I like them rough around the edge.
Yeah, we're going to talk about your judging of the Calgary Free. I'm going to upload that this week, so we can discuss that too. Anyway, let's discuss All That Skate in Korea because it was the show event pageant of the season. It was a Sandra Bezic special. This has always been the A-list skating show of all shows. And I know that Hanyu fans like to say that things begin and end with Hanyu, but I feel like the Koreans and their K-pop, they're so sexually liberated that they just give us the Sandra Bezic sex appeal that we want in a show. There's none of this androgynous Hanyu thing going on where we don't know.
Well, it's a different kind of energy, I thought. When Yuna came out, it was like the roar of a sporting event.
Oh, she was giving you Katarina Witt showmanship level vibes, okay?
Yeah.
The girl was basically doing mohawks and 3 turns the entire performance, and I was quite riveted for those 7 minutes that she actually skated. I was there with her. I was there for the sparkly pants. I was there.
The pants were great, weren't they? And they worked well. And I couldn't tell in the audience they had these beautiful lights.
Yes,
and I couldn't tell if that was everyone holding their phone intentionally that way, or if it was kind of lit like this, blurry Christmas magic kind of thing.
Ask Sandra how the shows do that. They always seem. I think it's intentional at this show because they've done.
It was beautiful. Yeah, it helped create a nice ambiance that felt a little classier than just spotlight.
It was Sandra class the whole way. The whole number, the sing, sing, sing. And I love how Sandra talks about shows. I said, I love the group numbers. She's like, which one? Sing? I was like, you mean sing, 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 Sandra? She'll be like, sing.
She was looking for the cubed emoji. Yeah. Okay.
I just love everything about her. I was saying, so Sandra, I was like, I bet you're a Morgan Cipres fan. And she was like, oh, Morgan. I just love when a pair boy grabs me. I was like, oh, yes.
Well, no, we don't because you used to skate with your brothers.
And she's really fallen for Nathan Chen. And I thought, oh, crap. As if Brian Orser doesn't secretly hate you enough, Sandra. Now you have to fall for Raphael's boy when he has Hanyu. Really? The next thing you know, Sandra's going to be consulting with Lori Nickel. We've never seen those two women come together. I don't know if it's possible, but I think that Lori and Sandra together, it would be the power ticket, okay? It would be...
Yeah, you wonder with two forces like that if they would create something that was next level, or if they would both have a vision but couldn't tie it together between the two.
I think that Sandra knows how to, like, make something artsy yet relatable and commercial. Like, she would know how to bridge the two. Because, like, sometimes Lori can be a little too, like, art for art's sake, right? And I think that Sandra can kind of...
Where Sandra creates a real concept and a big picture message that I think we miss a lot in this system. But Lori has created such refined qualities in the details. So if you can create that like overarching picture that Sandra creates...
And I think Sandra would work with Lori. I don't know if Lori would collaborate. That remains to be seen. But I think that I think that Nathan should maybe... I think he could get it done. If he wanted it, you know that.
Well, and maybe now that he's done the show with her, he'll think about it. But his work with Shay has been very good, so it wouldn't be. I mean, it's fun. I get.
I think Shay does good work, but I don't believe that people get to the core of their soul with Shay. I think Takahashi came the closest with.
Well, how could he not? Right. I mean, he just showed his soul all over the place, which we loved. Yeah.
But when he did the Pagliacci with Shay, I thought that was but I don't think people go to Shay for their soulful program, and it could be them. I think she could be capable of doing it. She was more of the fun programs, even as an ice dancer. She was never skating like the world was ending, and this is her last chance to move and express herself like the Russians were, and that held her back as an ice dancer until that last year. So I would be curious what she would do, and she is great at getting people out of their shell, enhancing movement quality. She's like a great short program choreographer. But I think.
Although having said that, I want to see her do more in pairs because, again, I know I sound like a broken record. I thought the Danny and Tara Swan Lake was very effective.
I think Shay would be great for pairs. I think we see so much of her, like, I want to be Ashley Wagner in Shimmy, and she's great at that. I want to be Mariah Bell and go to Shay. But I'm ready for the moment. I'm ready for the complete moment. And I think that Nathan's, like, Mao's Last Dancer program was really getting to what he's capable of doing, like, on a level. Last year's program was good, but I think it was not as challenging. I think he could have pushed it further. He was obviously with school and everything, but I think if he really commits, he can become a virtuoso. And I know that I wrote him later in the rundown, but I'm getting bored of Nathan, like, doing, like, the dress, like, the baggy dress outside of the pants and, like, hunching the shoulders over intentionally and, like, doing the whole, like, shtick. Because I think that Nathan can really bring it. And Sandra says that he really comes alive in front of an audience in these shows. And you could see from 2 years ago, 3 years ago to now, he grows every year doing these shows. And he does more shows than some of his contemporaries. He's been doing shows since the World Team Trophy, doing Stars on Ice, doing shows in Japan, doing shows in Korea. All of that experience adds up in front of an audience. And I think he is absorbing. And he gets to work with David Wilson, with Sandra, with quality.
And alongside, when you're skating alongside Gabby and Guillaume, you know what I mean? Inevitably, you rise to the challenge. You know, I think it's in the same way you talk about training mates. When you're just there and doing it and everyone's on a level and everyone's bringing a certain sophistication to it, you can't help but do your finest work also, I find.
I mean, are you hoping that Marie France brings in Sandra for a collaboration with Gabby and Guillaume? Because that would be everything. I mean, heart stopping, right? So what I noticed here about Gabby and Guillaume is that the way they were performing Oblivion, I don't know if it was the audience, I don't know if it was just the extra confidence of winning so many world titles, but they started to reach this level of, like, grand dame in a way that we haven't quite seen in ice dance, right? Like, Marilyn, Charlie, and Tessa and Scott always had a very specific way of doing their exhibitions, but, like, we were seeing, like, virtuoso ice dancer, like, the way they were even performing their short dance that we've seen all season, it felt like you were watching Tessa and Scott do their Tango de Roxanne in a show. Like, they were just giving it that next level.
Well, there was a sense of ownership about it.
Yeah.
You don't want to say a swagger because that takes away from what it really is, but just a sense of
mastery.
Yeah.
In a way that, like, the Russians can never compete with that. Like, they might have a good free dance competition, but that, that comes from 5 years at the top and years of training together and everything, and working in the shows and doing the little interlude when you're sharing the ice with Yuna. And I just felt like they're adding this next level of confidence and performance that's going to be really successful for them moving forward towards.
Yeah, really, I would hope to see, like, make that gap even wider.
Yeah, I think the gap was inappropriate at Worlds. It was far too
I thought so too, yeah.
But I think when you see them skate, it's just jaw-dropping, right? Like, they were giving you the best. Like, an absolute masterclass of performance of their brand.
That's a great way to put it. A masterclass in ice dance. Like, that's what I felt like I was watching. Yeah.
And she has really grown, just leaps and bounds the last couple of seasons.
And all you can be is better than you were. You know, for her, that's that thing, like, to compare is to despair. And we know all of these partners where, you know, you're aware of someone's freakish.
She's giving us, like, female performer angst now, and her head, and you even know, like, the way she does her hair, and like she's really becoming a real force of a leading lady.
I think through her self-confidence, she is empowering young women throughout France to be the best ice dancer they can be.
With scholarship and service. Yes.
That's right.
I paid attention.
But I love it. I think the Marie-France School is a school of female empowerment. And I think that's incredible what they have done for so many of the female skaters there.
Oh, yes. Pause note about Nathan. I just had to, like, say one little tidbit because we glossed over this during the PSA, but did you know that Raphael didn't get Coach of the Year for the PSA?
And it was Alyssa Liu's coach that did get it, correct?
And but, like, I get it, right? The USFS wants to promote Alyssa Liu and have a thing and encourage this young coach. But at the same time, and this is not disrespectful to Alyssa Liu's coach, who I think is doing great, but it's
who's obviously done wonderful work. It's not about that. However,
they did farm Alyssa Liu out to every talented coach,
and that's what a good coach like Alyssa's coach does.
Allows her to do. But she didn't do this on her own, and also Alyssa Liu still is a young skater who has a lot to work on. At the same point, Raphael did give you, and he did work with Nathan while he's at school and at home. He did work, you know, Nathan...
For an undefeated season.
Yeah. He gave you an incredible performance at Nationals. He gave you another world title. Grand Prix final, right? Like, he's delivered.
And do you find these kinds of awards should be based on one skater or on depth of the program that coach is running?
It should be on the coach's entire work. And so there are two coaches that I think really have a viable point to be offended. I think Raphael, first of all, I think I would give him Coach of the Year this year, and I'll say why. Yeah. But my second choice would have been, sorry, I'm just blanking on his name, Patrice Lauzon. Sorry, because Patrice Lauzon is coaching the top 3 ice dance teams in the United States, and he's Hubble and Donahue's coach. Now, if I had to go between Nathan and Hubble and Donahue, Nathan winning against Hanyu relative to the field, I would give it to him. And I think that Patrice Lauzon has done a great job, obviously, and he also works with the French, but the French aren't representing the USFS. So I think in that, I think if you're giving it for a US type award, I would, of course.
And Mariah's not nothing. I mean, we know that she's had ups and downs, but he has been working with her to create a more consistently high level, although we have a feeling she could be operating at an even higher level. But I think he's
bringing the best out of Mariah Bell.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to get at. Yeah.
I don't know how much more Mariah has to give, but he's bringing her up. Right? Like, she has improved from year to year, and it seems like it's coming together. He's done good work with Ensu. So, I mean, it just felt... While I know that they want to encourage, these awards seem so political and BS. I mean, did you know that Tom Z introduced Tammy and gave her the award? These two people don't even get along. Like, Vincent is now not even working with her. And it was hilarious, is that Ann Jensen was standing next to Tammy and Tammy's daughter. And Tammy's daughter is oblivious, is going... Did you hear? I heard that the Toyota Club is trying to recruit someone to come. Do you know who they're getting? And Anne goes, like, loud enough for Tom Z to hear. Why, whoever could they be recruiting? who does the Toyota Center want? I don't know. And like Tammy's choking because obviously she knows they've been talking to Tom. I mean, it was just hysterical. So, I mean,
well, and you just wonder, like, does that approval, does that award now mean that, I mean, I'm sure it was already happening that Alyssa's coach is now swamped and inundated with young children.
I mean, I'm sure it helps.
It's
a nice, look, she could get Best New Artist at the Grammys, but in order...
Has Raphael won this award before?
He's won it twice, but...
Oh, well, so, all right, yeah.
But Jonathan, you know that Marina Zagitova got this award every frickin' year, okay?
I didn't realize you could get it multiple times.
It's very political, let's be honest.
Okay.
Raphael is probably abrasive to some people and cocky, and that's what, and he's seen as a Russian, and that's why they don't vote for him. Okay, let's be really real about how the USFS works.
He's done a lot more for American
skating.
They
would give it to Tammy Gamble every year over someone like Karen Chen. Like the politicalness is just kind of inappropriate. So within the U.S. and they're not giving it to really the best coach. Eteri would get it like 5 years in a row in Russia, and you deserve it. So it's just how it is. Okay. All right. So Morgan and Vanessa, I thought again, this is a big deal for them to be in this show, to be performing well, and Vanessa will have that next opportunity at Battle of the Blades to really become even more of a star. And I thought that.
I think she has star quality in her personality, too, so I hope we get to see a lot of the personality in the Battle of the Blades.
Yeah, I think it'll help her develop her confidence, too, as a solo performer and working, and she does have a great personality, and we know that she's funny, and I think that will develop, because realistically, the pairs, because they're not doing the quad throws and the quad twists, they're all kind of maxing out around the same level of technical content. It's really going to come down to GOE and PCS over the next couple of years. So her doing more shows and even more TV opportunities could be helpful to them. That could benefit them in the long run.
Because they have a thing. Yeah. They are relatable. They are beautiful. They are current. They are cool. They have a lot that they can maximize on.
Yeah. But then when you see them next to Sui and Han, who are doing that Leona Lewis Run song that Lambiel did in 2013, and I know that it's a corny song, but they really skated it well, and it worked. And you could just see that they've been working with Ekaterina Gordieva and David Peltier. And I don't know if I was seeing things, but to me it looked like there was like a slight difference in the way they were tracking on the ice. Like I was seeing that her posture looked like a little bit different, like a little bit straighter in the back or something. And there was just a little bit of like a slight little detail, nuance that made them look even more world-class than before. And obviously they've not really been working on their elements. This is their rest time, their downtime to work.
And should be for her. Yeah. I mean, she seems fragile at times, or prone to injury, obviously. The only thing that threw me was that opening, like, his hand down her side, all sexy-like, except it was kind of...
They're of age. They're allowed to be sexy.
No, I know, but, like, sometimes you see someone just, like, slide down a hand, but this was kind of like...
Oh.
It was uncomfortable. He was uncomfortable.
She doesn't seem
he was,
uncomfortable
like, being
with
respectful.
It. She owns her
appeal. She would just go like that and just go right down like the body. Yeah. It was almost cute to see. Yeah.
But I did notice, and did anyone else notice the way that they were giving you, like, Russian skater tracking? I noticed it.
I have to go look back at that. Okay.
Just when they're skating, just in their crossovers. I was just like, oh. It was like for a brief moment, and then it was gone. But I was like, wow, they were just giving you next level, like, grand dame air skater. Yeah. I love when Sandra gets the A-list cast she wants, and Yuna gets, whatever Yuna wants, Yuna gets. And I think...
That's right.
Yeah. I do think she should invite Mao to a show. I think it would be cool to see them skate together.
Absolutely, yeah.
I thought Ensu, this is a really interesting thing to watch. Because I think that what All That Skate did with the Mariah Bell thing is they really did build her into a star. I mean, Jonathan, when they had that press conference, she was there with all of the world champion skaters. And it was like, we love her. You know, we're obsessed with her skating, but one of the things up there was not like the other. And they were clearly like, she was clearly the Diet Coke of Yuna at this show. You could tell that they're just trying to build her into the Korean star. which is smart for them because Yuna's not jumping. So they're going to need a new ice queen, and 2 stars are better than 1.
And she does have a very bright future ahead of her.
Yes.
Like, there could be world medals coming her way, but it's...
Yuna dominance, I don't know. It's too early to tell. Right, and it's
anyone dominance like that. Even Hanyu dominance is not necessarily what Yuna dominance was because of just the way the sport was shaping up.
Yuna should also invite Hanyu, but their shows were at the same time. But come on, if they did a show together, it could go. I don't know if it would work. Whatever. Anyway, I would just like to see it. But Eunsoo, you could tell I liked her number that she did to the Lady Gaga song. From A Star Is Born, Is That All Right? I really thought that it was a nice ballad number, and she was giving us like Marin Honda, Mariah Bell kind of quality, and I thought that she was really incorporating, she's giving us a Kerrigan spiral, and I thought that she looked...
This is someone who could stand almost to benefit the most from doing all of this.
Yes.
Yeah, because all of the ingredients are right there, so it's just a matter of seeing it.
Did she look taller to you? Was it that she's wearing the Adea skates? She looked taller.
She always has a tall look, which is why I love it so much. Yeah.
But I didn't know...
Because it's a tall look, but she doesn't... But it's tall, but it's...
she owns through her extension.
Yeah, she finishes it. Unlike, even Paulina with her background, we always heard about the ice dance background and the balletic background, but it was just hard at that size. Maria, so let's go... But here comes someone leggy and limmy, and she's really making it work.
Yeah. I'll be curious to see what happens. There was an interview with her published today. I couldn't get a translation of it, so we'll have to see if there's anything that comes out of it. But she seemed great. In the first day, I know that she messed up a triple. I was curious that she did a triple flip in the exhibition, because her triple lutz is a better jump for her, but she did do a triple flip, and she seemed to flip out of it. But then the whole second number was just shimmies. It was just shimmies and shakes. The whole exhibition. And she's working on the performance quality. She's not Yuna yet, okay?
Right.
When you're Yuna, I will follow you doing 3-turn mohawk, 3-turn mohawk. Yuna did it in both directions, so I was there for her. But she wasn't giving us what she could. The second number was not as refined as the first, but I did appreciate it. I did like it. So... All right, let's discuss the woman of the hour, Ms. Kim Yuna. Okay, what did you think of the imitation Sasha Cohen Dark Eyes?
Yeah, it was...
The dress was very Sasha. We've seen that dress before.
Yeah, I was curious, and I mean no offense. It just looked just a little rusty.
Yes.
A little rusty.
I was wondering if she was injured because she was practicing jumps when she was in Spain. And I thought maybe... Look, she's got a very busy schedule with all of her appearances and commercials and life. And
it's no joke to keep that up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I didn't even know if a nice double axel would have been okay. I don't know.
Yeah, I was wondering if she's just at the point where she's landing them, but not maybe feeling confident to land them in front of that many people.
And when you're that kind of a headliner, all it takes is one fall, because I don't know that these are necessarily diehard skating fans as much as they are diehard Yuna fans. So I don't know.
It's like a bridge, right? I think when she competes, they get more and more into the skating. We did see that when she stopped skating, the Korean audience petered off, but they are coming back. Yeah. And they do know about skating, but maybe not all the disciplines, because we never... In Japan, too, we never see pairs and dance. We never see them filling the stands. So maybe... I don't know about U.S. nationals back in the day. Was everyone watching Naomi and Peter? I don't know. I think it's...
Right.
Yeah.
That would have been a tough ticket to sell, I would think.
Yeah.
Especially for that damn compulsory dance back in the day. When it was all pencil and swallow. Okay.
But I did feel like you could see that Sandra and David together improved her movement quality, because Yuna always does a lot of stuff with her arms, because we know that her legs are not the most extended feature, but they were giving you different things with her head and upper body, with how she was looking. And I know that, and she does the really dramatic part at the end where she threw herself into the ice and these flames came up. And that was next level Katarina Witt type performance. And
I wonder if not having to jump allows her to indulge in all of that a bit more.
Probably. But it seemed like these programs, did they look like they were planned for jumps that we kind of didn't go through?
Yeah, like placeholders. Yeah, like a couple of 2-foot areas that just kind of breezed through that you're like, that could have been a jumping moment.
And then there were some moments where she was like doing the 2-foot crossovers that you would look like we're going to set up for a jump, and it was like, we're just setting up for the Ina Bauer. We're like, okay, so I think we're rusty because that wouldn't have taken that much effort for her to do that like in her prime.
Right.
However, I was still engaged with her as a performer. Huge improvement from day 1 to day 2 and day 3. First of all, on the first day when they filmed it, she missed her flying spin, and it was like, oh.
I saw that, yeah.
But then on the second night, she nailed it. And she just looked more engaged. On the first night, she looked like you couldn't necessarily tell if she wanted to be there at some point.
Well, I would assume when you put together a production like that, there's always that element of like, here goes. I mean, I'm sure it was prepared. I'm sure they did everything they could. But then there's kind of that like, well, let's see what happens now.
So I watched all 3 days of her performances just to kind of see what it would be like.
The evolution, yeah.
And she was really selling it and really getting into it, especially in day 2 and day 3. So and she said...
and the crowd went nuts when, I don't know if that was a specific thing where she was standing and doing that, like, flurry of,
what was
like...
that thing?
It was almost like a version of Vogue for today's audience. It must have been a nod to something.
Is that the K-pop group that's really popular? I don't listen to them, but
because it was a spiral and a specific thing. And
but if you have a song for us to listen to with them, like, I will gladly watch it and, like, learn the reference and get it. Like, I like to learn... different things of what the kids are into. I just don't know. I work in insurance. Okay, I'm old. Okay.
No, and it was clear that though the fact that she was doing that exact, hand choreography or arm choreography at that point meant something. The moment
of the thing for them, which was like so Sandra, and I could tell, is that they had her do something with her arms like this, and they got her arms to look very soft, and she just did these like 3 turns, but like going across, and it made this like illusion. And, like, Sandra basically used her arms at a different plane and, like, the way she would move her head that she's never done before. And I was like, they just, like, gave her a whole new dimension of her movement. Because sometimes with her programs before, I felt like, we've seen it all. We know what she's going to do. But she gave you, like, new movement, new energy. And
There's always room to grow and create, Dave.
Oh, I really felt like Sandra was, like, feeling herself when she got into it. From the scratch spin to the dying in the flames, and then the arm movement.
And then any moment that Yuna got to like just be held by Morgan, I was like, that's exactly what I would have requested in my show too. So I think snaps to Yuna for requesting that.
And I just love how Sandra and David did the costumes with the black, and then she comes out in gold. Mm-hmm. And I liked the costumes in the beginning were very classy. I felt like All That Skate has really gotten their act down. Like, it's always been the A-list show. 10 years ago, they brought Michelle Kwan out of retirement to do Winter Song, and our hearts stopped. And I thought this was really a moment as well. We didn't know if it would happen, and it did. And
so now compare it. So when we did the other show, it was Japan's, not Stars on Ice, or was it Stars on Ice? What was it called? Fantasy on Ice, excuse me. So how would you compare those two shows?
This is a much more polished production. And that was much more about Hanyu and the singer. And I think it's much more about, like, Hanyu's energy, which either you...
are there for.
And I'm sure if you're there in person, it's really great. This one is better on TV. It's more polished. It's more just finished.
This one's more television ready, it felt.
Yeah, and it's a smaller cast. And it just felt more TV ready. Look, Haein Lee and Yuna Kim, they were all, like, in the black as the backup dancers, like they should be. They're learning and growing from the masters.
Where was Young Yu? Was Young Yu there?
I
didn't see her. That's why I would be intrigued if she
Davin Choi was there. I did see that. And she was there they were in black in the Sing 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 at the end. They were the girls that were, like, in the black pants and the black shirts. So I don't know if some of it is the agency because, like, Junhwa Cha was not there because he is with the other agency, which is the only reason why Brian Orser will work with him because he couldn't take Ensu because she's with Yuna's mom's agency. So, like, there's that whole thing going on in Korea. So, I don't know.
It's complex, isn't it?
It's complex. He had his own show in April, right? Because he's the other
Which is, it's a bit unfortunate that is the case. I understand that is the case, but he is someone who could have also benefited from doing the shows in this kind of capacity,
but
working with Sandra.
It's just the way it works. Like with
and
Stars
he's
and
got
Ice,
star power over there. If they could get him and Unsoo, headlining these things together, they could really create a thing.
But then the boy June, I don't know if it's how it's pronounced, but the boy that was the fourth one in the number where Nathan, Shoma, Javi basically did a choreographed jump off, and he was also in it. He looked impressive to me. Like that skater was quite good. He was quite skating up. It didn't look out of place with them. And I thought that was kind of a cool thing to do with these great jumpers.
Yeah, whether it intimidates you or makes you rise to the challenge.
And I also thought it reminded me, do you remember on Stars and Ice, one year they did a number called 5 minutes for icing, and it was just Paul Wiley, Kurt Browning, and Scott Hamilton showing off all their footwork. And they would...
fun. I don't remember that.
I think I posted on YouTube, but they had choreographed edge sounds, right? And they all were doing stuff. And this kind of reminded me of that, but with jumps. And everything old is new again, Jonathan. Okay,
Isn't it new?
So I loved it. Overall, I thought it was a really well done show. It didn't make me hate my life. I didn't feel embarrassed to watch it.
Yeah, it was classily.
It was exciting at the same point.
Yeah.
It was
It had that sparkle to it.
Yeah. It was imagine if this could become a touring show that we had multiple weeks of Sandra and David working together. And we could get Renee Roca and Michael Siebert. Imagine what we could do.
Well, and that's the thing about some of these is you put in all that effort and to know it's almost a one and done, where at least when she was doing old school Stars on Ice, she knew that sucker was getting a lot of mileage.
And they had 6 weeks of production, right? Yeah. Plus months and months in advance. Now, they've worked on this for several months, and she said that you can make a classy show. You just have to know what you're doing in that amount of time and then not be too ambitious. And I thought it worked. Because why I don't like going to Stars and Ice is it's transparently slapped together. Right. From the moment, even the duets of the two pair teams doing
something. Well, it's not meant to be a show. It's your chance to see those people live, period. Do you know what I mean? That's what they're resting. I just feel
I'm not that kind of fan, Jonathan.
No, I'm not either. Yeah.
I'm not that person.
Okay. I'd rather go to the competition always,
But I do enjoy it. If I could see Lambiel do one of his professional numbers live, I would be there for it. But I only want to see, good show skating. I don't want to see shtick. I don't want to see Scott Hamilton in a costume doing, imitation clown. I always hate those parts of Cirque du Soleil, in the middle when the clown comes out. I find it very creepy. And
oh gosh, and God forbid they come up to your chair or something.
Yes, I don't enjoy any of, I don't like audience participation. I just want to be wowed, okay?
Yeah. And they're for spectacle, not the experience.
Yeah. So, anyway, let's discuss Shoma Uno, okay?
Oh, Dave. Yes?
So, the internet basically, mildly broke.
Exploded.
People have a lot of feelings.
Mm-hmm.
They want to know, Jonathan, and we're going to talk it out.
We're going to talk it out. That's what we're here for.
We knew that he was leaving Yamada.
Which we understood. We love Yamada, and they've done...
But every top skater other than Midori has left her. And you know what I was thinking about Yamada? Because we've been watching so much Midori Ito lately, and then we watched her in Adult Worlds, and then we watched Shoma. Her skaters seem to be so fixated on landing these big jumps that they change the order of their programs from time to time and competition to competition. Yeah. And we watch Midori changing the order of her program. There seems a little bit of a lack of that Frank Carroll discipline, where it seems there's a go-getter attitude, but sometimes it needs to be reined in.
Harnessed. Right? It needs to be channeled. And because we love that, and of course it worked out because Midori did land the second triple axel in Albertville.
But a lot of times it doesn't.
But it doesn't work all that time.
And how about all those double axles she missed at Adult Worlds and she just kept trying them? And it was the program needs integrity and it needs discipline. And
he is worthy of that and can certainly bring that.
So I know that people have a lot of feelings about him going to Eteri. I will say that, look, he probably has.
Before we get into the editing, or the editorializing of the thing, the actual facts were, did he announce that he was leaving?
Yeah, he announced. Yeah.
But he didn't announce where he was going. It was the Russian Federation that confirmed it because Eteri posted it.
So I did a little, I did my journalism, right? I contacted every A-list coach in North America.
Okay.
And none of them
confirmed that it was them.
They all said, we talked to Alex, we talked We found out if he was the
who would have been a very plausible idea that it could have been.
Because he's worked with him in the past. It was not Tom Z. We knew that it couldn't be Tammy. She has Vincent. He was not with Raphael.
It was never going to be Brian. Yeah.
Not going to be Brian because of Hanyu. And even the article from Jack Gallagher said it was either Eteri or Mishin. And somehow, I think we all knew what was coming. Like, we all knew.
I know. But there was still that, like, ounce of hope that I was like,
really?
Mishin would be a
You want Mishin? Wait, talk it out.
For the jump. I think to solidify some of those check landings.
I have mixed feelings on that.
Okay, tell me.
While I do think that Mishin... All right, I just need to be, like, really real about this.
Yeah, go for it.
He's, like, a fully baked person. Like, he's in the oven, and he's, like... All the ingredients have been put in. He's like the roast is in the oven. We're like almost done, right? We're just like adding the trimmings and like cutting it the right way.
You're talking about with Shoma?
Yeah, right.
So,
like, he's like a fully baked skater, right? Like he is like, he's not going to learn that much new. We've seen these skaters try to like deconstruct and like change their jump technique, and like with Evgenia Medvedeva. And with Mie Hamada, we see what a train wreck process that is, and how it always winds up kind of reverting to the way the technique was before. Like, it never fully changes, right? Like, you never see, like...
this late in the game, yeah.
Like, it's kind of, like, too late. But So I don't think that Mishin is necessarily going to give him, like, all new jumps, right? Like, an all new technique. But I do think that Eteri could get him to check properly, and that Eteri could get him to be disciplined, because those girls are doing their full run-throughs every day with the numbers and training in a specific way. As long as she doesn't overtrain him, and she could rein some of his energy in.
Because he's a bit masochistic that way. And even like when we were talking about Midori and how they all in that camp seemed to change the order, he would just hurl his body.
I don't think he needs to be pushed. I think he needs to be guided. Right? And
it just seems like so much of Eteri's qualities are about pushing.
Yeah, but I do think that she believes in a discipline and going for every point. And some of the things that we've seen is that he'll lose levels on footwork sequences and sometimes on his spins because he makes stupid errors. Or he does a triple sow cow, triple toe combination and then biffs the landing on it and then rushes the next spin, in the season. Or he's like missing the triple axel late in the program. And I just think that, look, everyone's going to talk about the pre-rotation. His technique on the quad flip is not going to change. Okay, that's how he does that jump. It's going to be like that with the pre-rotation. I'm sorry to break
but
it
if
for
they
you.
can address the checking of the jump, at least it will be a more consistent landing for him, because that's where it really goes awry.
That pre-rotation jump is not going to change. I'm just letting you know, it wasn't going to change with Mishin either. It's just the way it is. He's just like so ingrained with doing that at this point, at this late in the summer. And I know he's going to her for probably approximately 6 weeks on like a trial basis. And then they'll see if he's going to coach himself or stick with her. And we know how crazy this all gets with egos and nationalism. And what, will she be a consultant? Will she be his coach? Like what?
I was really intrigued by the article or the interview blurbs that came out from Tarasova and Averbuch. And
two of our favorite politicians.
Yeah, well, but I think Tarasova was a mighty fine political answer here, where she said,
she's liking Eteri a bit better because she has to, right?
And she said, if he chose her, then he's the right one. Then she's the right one for him. And I kind of love that, because if there's something inside of him that's being drawn there, let's see why. Because I'm intrigued. Shoma, what about her skaters or her product made you think that's exactly what I need? I'd be intrigued to hear what that is. Not because I doubt that there is a thing.
Consistency. I don't think he's going to pantomime. Like, I don't think he's going for the Danny G choreography special. I don't think we're playing patty cake like Sherbakova. I don't think that we're, like, drawing a heart on the ice. I don't think that we're calling the 9/11 program. Like, any of those offensive choreography schlock, I don't think he's giving you.
Well, and I love that Tarasova also was then the one to say, a lot of our skaters will change having him around.
I agree with that.
I loved that.
Don't
she said
you
that
think that those girls will see what he does, the way he owns an edge in a moment, and maybe Eteri will see that, and maybe they'll have a light bulb go off and be like, we don't have to clutter this as much. If these girls can really skate and giving this edge, you do pick up things from watching. When you train with someone who's really good at something, right, and who really holds something, like he does that best we know of a squat. Right? All the time. It's a signature move. And Trusova does it. But Trusova does it and she doesn't arch her back and it kind of looks like janky, but she can do it into a jump. But she doesn't own the move and like make it her own and like get the audience roaring. She's someone that could watch him do that and be like, oh.
I can do that.
I can do that.
I think
with a little tweaking and a little watching. And then he can watch her do a quad and be like, well, I can be that consistent, right?
The girls there are competitive and will not be outdone. And I think they're going to see someone
and they all hate each other and secretly. And they're all competitive because they...
But that's also nice because Shoma's not in the same group and a total different discipline, total different country, obviously as if this is news. But I think if they see someone fly by on a deep edge and beautiful knees, they will rise to the occasion and one-up each other that way then.
And he's not some 16-year-old boy going through a growth spurt who's going to be getting injured and trying all of this stuff. Like, he is the size he's going to be. He has the speed. His skating skills aren't going to really change much. And he's going to get his programs. And Eteri does seem to at least keep the choreography in. Like, if the choreographer puts it in, and if maybe she alters it
They don't water it down.
They don't water it down.
Yeah.
So I think that everything will be kept kind of intact. And let's be honest, I really feel like there's a thing with coaches when they coach women skaters that to have a men's champion becomes like a bigger badge of honor, right? It's considered like, well, you have a men's champion, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it becomes like, whose is bigger, and right, like she can beat Brian Orser in the ladies' event
in both disciplines.
Can she beat him in the men's? I thought, oh, wow. She's really bringing it. Like, she's going to be going to battle with him now in men's and women's because she hasn't had the boys to do it with him. But now she does. Now she's going to
Although she's had the talent, it's just not quite worked out for her. I'm always so sad.
Now she's going head-to-head with Raphael and with Brian in both disciplines. And you just think, like, and Tarasova did it. Morozov did it. The great coaches, we see Frank, they do it in both disciplines. And now she's like, because she's done it, what is there left for her to do in women's skating? Like, that challenge as a coach, she's done it. She basically swept the podium at Worlds. She developed all three of those girls. Those were her girls. Like, yes, Brian gets credit as well, but like those were her girls, right? That was her podium. The challenge is done. What you just keep winning, right? Like she's sweeping the juniors every year. She swept senior. Like at a certain point, you kind of like either you move into a consultant role or you get bored, right?
Now I'm intrigued because so Overbuch then in his blurb, and he was my biggest fear that Danny G or Overbuch were going to get their hands on Shoma and try to give him some of that schlock. But Overbuch's thing was like, of course you come to Russia because we're the best.
Oh, well, they have to say that. We are the best, like... Yeah. Well, did you watch the Chernobyl documentary? I mean, the Chernobyl series.
I know, I started. It was so dark.
It's so good. But they were, in the, episode 4, they talk about how they wouldn't ask for outside people for help because they don't want to be embarrassed on the global stage. And I was like, there's something with that in skating when Medvedeva went for outside help. Like, that became a real... problem.
Well, yeah, and then the way you spin that makes more sense to me then, because I was about to say, if this is about nationalism, do they not want to keep their coaches to themselves? It's about superiority. But they're okay with sharing those. Yeah, they like that because they're coming to them because they are the best. Yeah,
you know that the really mentally ill guy who comments on our videos is going to say, well, see, even Shoma is coming. The one that has Zagitova like jumping on the
I know.
Whatever his name is. Yeah. And I don't feel bad for saying that because he says some really crazy, like, offensive, inappropriate things.
Speaking of crazy, inappropriate, offensive things and Russia, Dave, I didn't realize about this whole explosion with our friend Johnny and Evgenia.
Wait, okay. We're going to go into that. Wait. I just wanted to get Shoma Uno. He has announced his choreographers. It's Shaylin Bourne for the short and David Wilson for the free. So we're not getting the Danny G. So I think that could work.
Yeah, because my main thing was Shoma. Yes, we always knew the jumps could be squirrely, but the programs, I've always wanted to see him collaborate with choreographers. So let's see what happens. What I hope doesn't happen is a little bit what happened to Evgenia's short program, where we try it and then we just revert.
But don't you think Shoma's a performer?
100%.
And those girls in Eteri's rink are performing the stuff that they're given. It's just the quality of what they're given. So,
right.
Oh, and also Vincent Zhou is skating to the Cloud Atlas soundtrack, and Lori did it. She did this program last year. I don't really know what the Cloud Atlas soundtrack is. I haven't listened to it yet, so I don't want to form it.
I'm trying to fit in an Atlas Shrugged pun, but it's not really coming easily. So
Hanyan is giving us La La Land with Yuka and Kurt. That dynamic. So.
Okay.
Listen.
Old school.
Those friends from Stars on Ice, we love them both. So.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think he works with Alyssa Cisney on the spins, is my understanding. So.
Well, there you go.
What about the power team? Okay. So, all right. And it looks like Daisuke is keeping his free skate from last year. And we love that program. So that's good. That's at least with the great
Daisuke Takahashi?
Yeah. Remember he skated last year?
I know. But he's doing what this coming season with that program?
The Pale Green Ghost. He's going to skate it again. He only skated it twice.
But he's competing again?
Yeah.
No, Dave. He denied all his invitations.
But I think that was nationalism. Let the boys, improve and get there.
So is he going to do the same thing again?
I don't think so. I think he may try for Worlds if he feels that he can be competitive. I think
Oh, interesting. See, I thought that was a Javi at Euros kind of thing. I thought he came back, did a great nationals performance, but was no, I won't take the opportunity from someone else.
No, I think he's going to do it. But Kol Yada is giving us Charlie Chaplin. Doesn't that make you want to vomit? Did we talk about that? Anyway, I'm seeing it in the form.
Because I love him so much, and I don't want it.
Also,
it's the program.
Our friend Doug Haw, he is going to do the Patreon judging of the 88 Olympics that was commissioned for the men's. Yes, Jonathan, we got him ready for it. He's going to say all the things, right?
Well, because that was his scene. Well, I mean, we know how that's all boiling down.
I called him, and he was like, oh, I remember running into Sandra in the grocery store when she got the call from Linda. It's going to be all the things you want to hear, right?
Oh my God, but his gold medal winner will always be Rob McCall.
But I really think we need 2 sets of marks for Doug Haw. We need our real set of marks, and then we need to we need some joke marks about where to put Brian Orser. Just a couple things. Just
wait, yeah. Do you think he'll watch this? Yeah, we should set it up so we're like, I'm sorry, we had Brian in 8th place.
Yeah. I felt like his figure was really shallow. He would be like.
Yeah. I thought Christopher Bowman was the real silver medalist there.
We have to do it. We have to play with Doug.
I'll do it. I'll be like the Polish guy.
He has it coming. He has it, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
It looks like Jason is going to work with Roheen for the short again, by the way. Donovan...
Although I have to say they did such a nice one last year, so I'm okay with it.
But Donovan Carrillo is going... He said that he's actually rotating that quadruple sound cow, but he's not landing it just yet, but it's close. So, and it looks like it's going to be Marie France doing Nathan's long and Shay doing the short, but I don't know. We haven't seen anything just yet, so we will see. We will see. But anyway, yes. Okay. Johnny posting the Evgenia thing. I have a lot of thoughts. I have mixed feelings about this. I want to know your feelings, and I'll...
So I first heard about it, and it was this scandal, la 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 la, and of course I was in Glamourland. Yeah. So I was kind of missing some of this, and then I thought, oh my gosh, what's going on now? I remember the last time Johnny had a Twitter thing was because he said Nathan Chen might beat Hanyu at Worlds, and then all the fans just tore him apart and how horrible he was that he would say something about Hanyu after he was, dedicating a program to him and blah, blah, blah. And Johnny was like, well, Hanyu knows I'm good and knows what I mean, so I think we're fine. Mm-hmm. Like, and there is that sort of thing. But this, I sort of read this note that was just horrible. Something that we could read. Well, yes, we always read, but skaters could also read on YouTube or one of those horrible forums. Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of like, why this one? Why give it attention?
Because almost every video of her has these awful comments on them. Usually from that guy on our YouTube videos who writes them from time to time. I mean, and makes new accounts. People who aren't watching the skating, people who aren't watching the videos, people who are there to push some very strange social agenda. And you're just like, what is your... I just have to assume it can't be rationalized because we're dealing with someone who's obviously irrational. Maybe it's uncommon to get it at a show, but you have to imagine Johnny in his day was a gay skater who was open about his stuff, wearing fake fur. You know, he got messages like these. Like, that was a real thing when he was competing in 2010.
Right.
And we know from the way how people have reacted, and Eteri has kept stirring it with Evgenia, we know that this is a thing, and I'm sure that they have fans across the world who feel this way, right? The thing is, I imagine, based on the fact that they were posing in pictures together, that she gave him the okay to post this, right? That he could say this and support her. And maybe she's really just done with people writing this, right?
I mean, you know, again, I so applauded her move, not because I was necessarily like, this is absolutely necessary and this is the best move you're ever going to make, but it just meant she transcended borders and was a real devotee of the sport. And I just kind of loved that. And for all these people to turn it and get so vicious and play out these weird... We even see it on our videos where it like plays out these political things under, and you're just like, where is this going?
Johnny, and someone said that we were the people that have made skating not popular in the U.S. Like, I love that kind of power.
Or something about Trump, or that like something about you don't like Russia this, or you don't like Japan this, or and it's. I didn't know if this was naturally based, or if this was just vitriol based, or what the origin of the comment was.
I mean, there seemed vitriol, definitely, in the Evgenia thing.
Yeah.
The only thing I worry about is that this kind of thing stirs it up. And it also seems, obviously, Johnny's going to get a lot of positive press from being, like, the savior here.
Yeah. Was it that you thought you are making a social impact with this, or is it both?
Because you're really not going to stop the people that are...
You're preaching to the choir on your own Twitter page.
You're preaching
Except
to the choir.
I'm sure everyone's turning it around about his commentary.
Yeah, but it gets Evgenia a lot of positive publicity. It's given her a lot of love, and I think that's always positive. But it is kind of like an attention grab by Johnny.
It's a bit the smarter, less horrifying way to achieve perhaps what was happening with the Mariah and Eunsoo debacle, because it wasn't about a skater. We can now feel empathy and be rooting for someone who had a horrible person outside of skating do that to her. Yeah.
So it's just like, it's interesting. Look, it is.
I assumed I was like missing it because unfortunately, you know, even when Ashley was talking to you and said when she was named instead of Mariah.
Oh, I'm sure people wrote awful things to her.
Death threat, you know, all this sort of stuff. And you're like, what? People are nuts. I don't know what else to say, I guess.
People have a lot of emotions. Skaters, people that are attracted to skating. There's a lot of a lot of mental health going on. Positive feelings. That's what I would say. But
all the feelings,
What does Jenny say? Your comments are more about you than they are about the person you're making them about. Isn't that what she said?
But I believe her.
In some respects, yes. I think when you're writing a hateful comment like that, like
you're taking the time and the effort. And again, you know, just to clarify, because I'm sure some snarky comment will appear in our comment page, but I do believe that there is a difference between having a dialogue where we're discussing our favorite skaters and aesthetics and what we like and what we don't like, versus calling someone and yelling it at them, or writing them a direct letter and saying
in disgusting language, right? That's the thing.
Exactly. So, totally different.
Yeah. So anyway, that was just... It's going to be interesting. Look, Johnny's going to have a big fall because remember, he does have a lot going on. They have their cake show. They have their commentary, and then he's going to be an actor in that skating show on Netflix that we're going to be discussing when it is finally released later this year. There's a 10-episode series. Remember, it was going to star Emma Roberts, and then she was replaced in the show because of scheduling. There's a Netflix drama about skating coming out that's not supposed to be cheesy. It's supposed to be like a good Netflix show. And Dylan Moskovich is like one of the skating extra types in it.
Oh, well, he's been trying to break into acting. We've seen that on
Jonathan, we are going to be covering this. We're going to be doing 10 episodes. We'll do 10 videos on it. We'll cover it. Okay.
All right.
We're going to be into it.
I look forward to seeing it. I'll finally watch something on Netflix besides Planet Earth.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, and you're going to watch Big Little Lies, Jonathan.
You sent me the that little trailer clip today, and it does seem intriguing. And once they added Meryl Streep, then I'll be intrigued to check it out now.
And I want to know which of the women you feel you are, because I feel like I'm the Reese Witherspoon character, and I want to know which of the ones you feel you are.
Okay, great. I look forward to letting you know which Big Little Liar I am.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Now, how about Bradie Tennell? Going with Mishin over the summer. Going to work with him. Do you expect big changes? Anything?
Do you think that Mishin was what was missing? Like, I'm intrigued because, as she proved towards the end there, once they got their jump order kind of going, things, I don't know. Well, I think
he can improve her jump technique and the confidence. Not that she has bad technique, but sometimes she does get under rotations, and I think that he may just make those little adjustments that give her a little bit extra height, a little bit extra, just like fine-tuning of different things that may give her...
It's hard for me. I mean, okay, so when I think of Mishin's women of recent, obviously we know Elisabetta has such exquisite spring and projection to those jumps. Or what do we say, amplitude?
Yeah, amplitude.
Yeah. And I would love to see Bradie start to do a bit more of that versus.
So I think he could help her make them bigger. He could help them, and that could help.
But what about
rotation.
like Samadurova? She didn't quite have that same.
I know,
lift.
But not every girl is the same, right? So
and maybe so I'm intrigued where.
And not everyone has the same work ethic, and not everyone has the same talent. So
and everyone has a different body type. Yeah. So I actually, maybe she's the closest to like more of a Carolina, who I have to say I was so floored with what he was able to accomplish with her.
Yeah.
When she went there, he made the impossible possible for a period of time there. So
Deanna said that when she was skating on the same rink as Bradie, that you just can't believe how hard she works and the amount of jumps that she does in a session. Like she is drilling everything. Yeah. So like she is making it happen. I mean,
well, and I think if we talk about sometimes what can you do in a summer, but if you are that kind of student, like Bradie so clearly is.
So I don't think she's going to get like a triple axel over the summer. Like I don't think
But anything that's told to her, I do believe 100% will be retained and taken on very seriously. Now, does she go with someone? Does she go with someone that like?
She's working on her programs with Benoit while she's there too. So I think they're kind of working on all of it right now.
Okay. And then I also wonder what they do with a translator. Also with Shoma.
Yeah. Well, Benoit knows English enough, and Mishin knows English enough, and yeah.
Well, that's what I wondered, if Mishin really feels comfortable coaching in English.
And like skating is kind of like its own language. Just kind of like singing. Like I'm sure you could take from a teacher.
Yeah, but then sometimes when you're talking in metaphors.
Well, the Russians love metaphors, They do.
Yes. I used your... Who said that quote where it was like, "Can you see the forest through the trees?"
Oh, yeah, that's just like a comment. Yeah,
I just love that. I first became aware of that idea from you on the show, and I was like, that's so applicable to so many things. But I'm intrigued more so about Shoma and Eteri, how the language thing will work. Obviously,
that's
there are
interesting.
Translators that speak both, but you're going to have to pay someone.
Yeah.
Additionally, but if they're planning on growing a collaboration between the two countries, it could behoove them to find a permanent.
Yeah, it'll be. I can't wait to see it. I hope she is his full-time coach. I hope we see it in the Kiss and Cry. I hope we see her at the boards next to Brian Orser, Japanese nationals. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Because we did see Hanyu's not resting on his laurels either. He's been working on the quad lutz in the finales of these shows and in the practices. He wants to be competitive and he wants to win. So if Shoma cannot get the consistency, he's just competing for bronze, right, against Vincent. Right. But because Hanyu is really bringing it. And if he can stay healthy and get...
Which, quite frankly, is absurd that there's even a competition happening. And between Vincent and Shoma, and I feel it's because...
Shoma has
let that competition happen. Yeah, exactly.
But Shoma was a top 3 skater, and he's become like a top 4, top 5 skater because of these mistakes that he has done. He's become the bridesmaid of all time with Grand Prix final, Worlds, Olympics. So
someone I adore seeing. So again, a new collaboration.
But I do have to say that even in these show numbers, he can't do the clean program. Like, he has to mess up one of the jumps. And I get that they're under spotlights and that. But it just seems like anywhere, the mistakes always creep in. It's become...
If there was a mistake on a jump, I take it. Because it normally isn't that. It spirals out of control.
Yeah.
It's me and my emotions. That's what skating is. Okay.
But also, Satoko Miyahara said that she's going to leave a placeholder in her free skate for a triple axel. Jonathan...
And was supposedly working on a quad or something?
I think that these can help her perhaps make her existing jumps bigger. I don't think we're ever going to see her do a triple axel. No, remember how Christy made her double axel a lot bigger by working on the triple? I think that's what we're going to see from Satoko. We're going to see her existing jumps get bigger, but if Satoko's going to do a triple axel in her free, I mean, so will I. I mean, I don't know what.
Right.
Come on.
What if you had done that when you were competing and you were like, I'm going to put a placeholder for a quad lutz here, but it might just be a single. We'll see.
Isn't that what Jason Brown does every year? Anyway.
I mean, that I don't and again, it just sort of, at what point are we just repeating ourselves here? Like, now, if she had made some crazy move like to Eteri.
Yeah.
That might have helped with the jumps. And like
my initial snarky remark was, well, at least they have the same pre-rotation technique. When I said that Shoma was going to her, because they kind of do.
And maybe that made it alluring. Maybe it seemed like an identifiable technique that they were still able to land consistently.
I mean, I think she's going to be able to give him more discipline than he had.
Yeah.
How could you not with her? I mean, come on.
Right.
She could scare you into doing anything. Okay?
Right. But if you had said, Satoko, go there for the camp also, but maintain your own choreographers, that would be intriguing.
Yes, it would. Yeah. We'll see. They have a little bit of a different rhythm with the skating. It'll be interesting to see how they mesh it. So there's talent.
Yeah. Versus Rika, when we saw those quads, they were so... And then someone was putting the side-by-side up of Rika's practice ones with Elizaveta's. Or Elizabeth Turzovayeva's. And you just see how different and meaningful that Rika's quads could be if she's able to deliver them.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I think she'll try hard enough. It just we'll have to see. And there was one other music thing that it's not. I said Stepanov and Buchan are going to be doing Moulin Rouge for their, but it's the Sparkling Diamonds. It's for the rhythm dance because of the whole Broadway thing. So
I mean, that's a loose interpretation of the Broadway thing also.
Yeah, we'll see.
They lost.
We'll see.
Did you watch the Tonys? I didn't watch the Tonys, but then maybe the ice dancers were.
I didn't watch the Tonys yet, so
okay.
I wasn't really feeling any of the Broadway shows this year. There was nothing that was really making me.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of new to track as much this year as sometimes.
No, there was nothing that It wasn't like Gypsy or anything that I really wanted to see performance. So I figured if it was really good, I would catch it on YouTube. I'm just not. I don't go to the Tony parties where we have pictures of all the people's faces on that. I'm not. I like to go to Broadway, but I'm not fully into
a fan of the show experience, not necessarily the fanatic culture behind it. Yeah.
I've been to Marie's Crisis, the piano bar, but that's not my regular haunt, right? That's a little.
That's not your scene. Okay.
I'm there for when we're singing The Sound of Music by Piano. But then when we get to like Oliver, I'm like, you take that.
I'm gonna go eat some more food, glorious food, while you sing about it.
Yeah,
okay.
Right. Like I'm just you. Yeah, that's kind of I feel like Jonathan. There's that. So
fair enough.
I feel like this has been a real week. I mean, I feel like we're getting into the transition part. We've got Battle of the Blades coming up. We've got
a Netflix show coming up. Incredible.
Tanya won that Food Network show.
She won it?
Yeah, Jonathan.
Oh, I needed to watch them.
So if you win, are you officially the world's worst cook? How does that work? I'm not quite
Well, and that's the difficulty of the show. Is the world's worst cook technically the first person who gets voted off? Because you're the worst of the worst? Yeah, it does seem counterintuitive. But they kind of set it up like it's supposed to be, we're bringing the worst cooks who can improve the most. So
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah. Oh, well. If I had been a producer and Tanya was on my cooking show, we would have been having like thematic dishes. Like we could have done something.
And she's a winner. Okay.
She won the gold. That long last gold.
Finally. All right.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, what do you think of the pageant world? What do you think of the talent portion of the competition? And what did you think of Yuna's show? The costumes, the show,
the makeup, the scenery, the lights, the audience, the
and Sue's shimmy number, like all of the feelings, like and those stretch jeans that she was wearing. What are all of your feelings about it? About Shoma, about Nathan, about all of it? What are we going to get with Eteri and Shoma? Leave your comments below. Hold an edge and look sexy. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.